Welcome to another episode of Heart and Soul. So, we've been at it for over a year now, and I'm so excited. And today is all about holding the vision, especially when you're during dark times, challenging times. It's so easy to be sucked down by fear or the feeling of there's nothing I can do. I am not worthy. I'm not good enough. Nothing ever, will hold that. And we only see the rain and forget to look at the rainbow or remember that the sun is always coming up. And yeah, this is sort of in addition to the golden future, and it of course links with all the other topics of clearing your energy and grounding and all these kinds of things. So welcome, Janet. Are you holding our vision of this gorgeous Heart and Soul podcast and show, reaching many people and hearts and soul and inspiring the world?
Absolutely, absolutely. And anyway, we just enjoy getting together, don't we, to do this? So, what's not to love? And I mean, you're absolutely right about holding the vision. We think of the golden future, but it's not only that, it's also about right now in our own lives, doing things that help to raise our vibrational energy, because that's so important. And I know for me, I mean, I liked how you said, when it's raining, look for the rainbow. Absolutely. Because in the world today, I feel that there's so much fear mongering going on, so much of the media, so much of, and because we have so much easy access, we're just often bombarded, and it often feels overwhelmed. And also that fear, that seed of fear that starts to sort of grow and spread. And that brings our energy levels, our vibration energy level, sucking us back down, sucking us down. And it's really important to find ways to cut out that noise. And as you said, look for the rainbow, look for the things that really do bring joy back into your life. And I know that one of the things for me is, I talk about it regularly, my dog walk. It really has made such an amazing difference in my life that I get up in the mornings, and yes, sometimes it's wet. And I have to say right now, it was a beautiful morning this morning. I was down by the sea, the tide was out, and Bailey and I sort of wandered off and explored down on the wet sand bits. And it was fascinating. And the light coming through in the morning, and it just felt really good. And I find each morning when we go for the dog walk, there's always something that I spot or I see or I look in nature, in the world, chatting with people, and it really makes my heart and soul sing. And that has been a huge, huge step forward for me. And when I'm doing that, I'm not worrying about media or this, that, or the other. I'm just in the moment. What about you, Caroline?
Absolutely, yes. I am so grateful for my dog because, quite frankly, I know how walks in nature helps, but I would probably find excuses not to go out.
Yes, yes,
So, getting out, feeling invigorated. I always feel
yes.
invigorated and
Alive.
just that fresh air. And we had a very rainy day, but it's also good, dancing in the rain or when it's
Yes.
windy. We can always connect to those elements and the fresh air. And yeah, and it's so much about going with your own flow, and letting go. And that's the part I think is the hardest when we try to hold on to things that are no longer meant to be. And that is happening now. Last week we talked about so much is crumbling, so much is falling away, clearing the path. And I mean, I understand when things fall away, you know, when my marriage ended, when, you know, all kinds of things, we are in that wobbly, very sensitive state, and we wish for things to stay because it feels safe. But maybe like the lobster, you know, in teenage, when they just leave their shell and then they don't have the new shell yet, and of course they, you know, it's different, they don't have that protective shell yet. And I think we are in that phase, we don't have the new protective shell yet, we feel very vulnerable, and things are falling away. But coming back to trusting your own flow, and maybe, if not now, trust that in a couple of weeks, months, years, what you're going through, looking in hindsight, it was meant to be. Always, I feel if something didn't happen or if something felt the way, I always told myself it was meant to be, or it was not meant to be if you had sort of a certain wish, because something better is waiting. And that's it, you know, we are still walking through that tunnel. We can't see a tiny, tiny light at the end, but keep going, focus on that light and just keep going and coming back to that trust, knowing all, not just all will be well, but all is well right now. And like you said, always be in the moment, because if we are sort of focusing on the past, we're living in pain. And if we are focusing too much on the future, we're living in fear. But in the moment, there is peace, you know, accepting what is, keep going forward and feeling the inspiration. And yeah, I mean, we're all humans, right? I mean, I don't have good days every day. I don't have, you know, I always have moments when I feel like, oh, how will I survive? Will the client come in? Will I get enough money? You know, all these basic kind of survival fears. And then I ask myself, is that, you know, a good point to go into this fear? Or can I come back to trust? You know, because raising my energy, then I'm more attractive and I resonate on that level. Whereas if we're sort of hiding in that hole of fear, no one will see us, you know, sort of raising our energy, releasing and sharing our light with the world, you know, and being that light in each moment and connecting to the light. And yeah, it takes practice, and yes, it is work, fun work, you know, and I see it in my healing sessions now. They are so much more intense because I channel all the energies, the fresh, beautiful, lovely energies. And when I'm holding people in a healing session, I am all in the present, all is well. It's absolutely gorgeous. And my wish is for everyone to really feel those wonderful, amazing, fresh energies coming.
Oh, that sounds so beautiful. And I mean, you are actually radiating as you're saying that. You can just see, because I was just going to say is that when you are in that space and your vibrational energy is raised, and we talk about it sort of as light workers, it's almost like your light is just like magnified. And even though, you know, we can't necessarily see it, but we feel it. We feel it. I mean, when you're with somebody who's in that space of joy, it definitely touches the people around them. And you know, to me, I always talk about joy being the fuel for your soul and obviously your heart, because that's all connected. And it really does shift you to a different space completely. And when you sort of, as you say, when you're in that fear, you're it's almost like you're being pressed and held down, you're being squeezed, it's dark, you know, your light can't shine. And it is hard work, yes, but it's worth it. And it's a bit like you, I mean, you've used an analogy there, but I come back to the caterpillar to the butterfly, you know, with sort of the caterpillar crawling along, and it's a bit sort of, and then it goes into the chrysalis, and it's in the chrysalis where the magic happens. But it's yucky, it's hard work, it's, you know, a lot of stuff going on there. And that's like us when we're in our challenge or in a trauma. Yes, it's not easy, but if we do the work and we follow through, we become the butterfly, we transform. And it is a process. And I always say I'm a work in progress because it's always a journey. There's always something. But starting off that healing journey and realizing that I sometimes say about trauma or challenge, life challenges, it's a bit like the universe giving us a nudge in the right direction, because we become, as you sort of say, maybe you're in a marriage or relationship where you're not happy, you're not actually shining because you're not being the person you're meant to be. And I think it's the universe going, okay, nudge. You need to go. And I see it with people so often, is that, you know, they and it is hard when you're going through the challenge and the trauma, and as you say, it's very unsettling, it's very difficult. And then you see a year down the line or 2 years down the line, and that person has completely changed, and it set their course, their direction has changed. And it has really felt like the universe gone, no, no, come on, you need to do this, and gives them that nudge. So sometimes if you're going through that right now, just think of it as the universe giving you a nudge in the right direction. What do you think, Caroline?
Absolutely, absolutely. The universe telling you there's something better out there.
It's better.
And that's the thing. And like you said, you know, with that transformation, the process can't be rushed. And I mean, there's another, I love Rumi quotes at the moment, you know, and there is, and healing the pain is through the pain. And it's so often we want to go around it, but it's through it, you know, to being with it, to explore it and feel it and learn from it and open up all those gifts. Like for me, my cat died about 10 days ago, and I went, I mean, it's hard. The cat has been with us for 15 years, our healing cat, gorgeous, amazing soul, every day with us. And it has been hard, but through that pain, it opened up for so much magic and creativity, and allowing myself to just the time to go through it, you know, is beautiful. And actually last night I couldn't fall asleep, and then my cat was with me, you know, in energetic for really curling up. I said, oh yes, Leo, I need you right now. And that was so beautiful, and being open for that. And I think now with the fresher energies, we can feel the spirit guides more. We are closer. We might feel the angels, the support. We might feel that shove, you know, if the notches don't work, you sometimes get a shove into the right direction. And just imagine that what you're going through is sort of like a learning curve for your future. This is your way of becoming the light, you know. It's, I mean, we both had our challenges, we all had our experiences, you know, with my marriage ending in 2008, you know. Without that, I would never be the person I am now. And it had taught me so much, and I learned so much ever since. I wouldn't have if that marriage would have continued. And
Exactly.
yeah, it's truly beautiful, the path we're going through, and we are always supported. It's not like if things fall away, that you are punished or anything. Actually, it's making room for new things, and you're always supported. The universe, the angels, your spirit guides, everyone is cheering you on your path. And that is important, to know that life is happening for you and not to you. It's always for you. And yeah, acknowledging that, and not knowing what's coming, just maybe be more adventurous or like an explorer and say,
Yeah.
okay, this has ended. What other ways or what other things can I explore now, and get more of that adventurous kind of energy, and yeah, dance in the rain.
Exactly. And I think sort of we tie it back to the golden future that we talked about in the last episode. It's often that we, and particularly as light workers, we go through this period of challenges to get to become where we are today, and to focus on the energy of love, and bringing that out into the world and being healers, and whatever our light worker purpose is, our mission here. And if we hadn't have done, as you said, if we hadn't have followed that path, we wouldn't be here where we are today and talking about the golden future and what that means, and how you need to prepare yourself to step into that, because it's not just a sort of a case of it's somewhere where you're energetically, we need to be aligned with that fifth dimensional um fifth dimensional world. And if we're not in that space, it's not going to happen. So I feel that it's important that we realize that it all is part of this important journey. And if you're like us, a light worker, and you feel called to do this, it's very important work that we're here in the world doing this right now, sharing this information and being the light to other people, to be guiding them towards this golden future. And I think that's an important step. It was important for me to realize that that is what I'm here for. And I think we talked about it last time, is knowing that you're here to do something, but was never quite sure what it was until, I'm almost, I want to say my age, but let's say quite a few decades later, realizing, oh, actually, this is what I'm here to do. That makes sense. I think you felt the same thing, Caroline, didn't you?
Actually, and looking back and say, okay, all my life, my nearly 55 years, saying my age here,
she's younger than me,
prepared me for this moment. There's all the preparation, and most important, it needs all of us.
yes.
Don't shy away from your inner light. And that's the part, connect within. We won't find the light outside of us, but within, and sort of igniting it and sharing that light in whatever form it comes. It can be as an office job where you just share your light, whatever, kindness to others. And we are in this together. And the more we all share our light, the easier the transformation, the sooner, and the multiplied the energy level of Earth is. And yeah, it needs, earth needs the light. You see everything crumbling away, everything sort of pushing itself up, or the last hold on to power. And so it's really important for all light workers, earth angels, sensitive souls, whatever you love to call yourself or feel connected to share your light now, and holding that vision together of that community of villages, supporting each other, of kindness, of heart to heart connections, of living and speaking and being your truth. There's no more hiding, there's no more comparison, there's no more uh, you're not good enough, or I'm better than you, or whatever else. It's peace, it's love, it's light, and we can all share our gifts together, and together as one we can finally live. And I think just holding that vision of that amazing golden future, where all our energies are clear, where we are connected heart to heart and can share meals or have that support, where we're not everybody doing everything on their own, but together. And yeah, we can all follow that bliss, we can all live in joy, and it's just amazing. And I love to hold on to this vision. And of course, I can go down the fear rabbit hole too, I'm not immune. And just catching myself when I'm going into fear and say, okay, wait a moment, take a deep breath, clear my energy or whatever is needed to just come back, holding the vision, seeing the good in the world. Do you have some tips? I mean, yes, morning walks, nature grounding, of what helps you when you're sort of getting back into that funk to then
I
step out of it?
I find actually creativity, being creative, and it's something that you mentioned as well, really helps me because it's like allowing this flow, and I enjoy doing that. So whether it's writing or whether it's just creating something digitally, um, I just find that is a space that I find very supportive. I also find certain music or frequency, doing a meditation, but listening to certain frequencies also helps to quieten my mind. Because sometimes then I can end up being, my mind is like shooting off in all directions, and then that can bring it back. Often a piece of classical music is actually really good for that. So yeah, there's a lot of different things that you can do, but that's how I find is that sort of being creative is an important part of who I am, and I think I need to keep coming back to that, um, to help myself, because when you're doing something like that, you're focused on what you're doing. You're in the here and now, the present. You can't be thinking about anything else. You're doing that. So
Mhm. And you're
it's
in the
just
flow and you're sharing your light and all is good.
exactly. It's all very, very positive and makes me feel good. And yeah, so
Mhm.
that's what I like to do. What about you, Caroline?
Yeah, I mean, yes, venting, that's what I call when you just write it all out,
Mm-hmm.
pen and paper or on the keyboard, and just, whatever is going on, and then just get those, dump it all out. And while you're doing it, you keep, no spelling, no nothing,
Don't worry about that. Yeah.
punctuation. You can just dump it all out.
Yeah.
And then eventually you realize solutions come up. It's sort of like a connection to your intuition, inner wisdom, but leaving that out. And then it's like a brain dump, it's not your thoughts here anymore, but it's out. And you don't need to print it out, nothing. You can just delete it or
Delete.
keep the space for next time. And yeah, I love, for a while I did watercolors, but just intuitive, I just love that feel and with the brush and everything. And that's really great. And just opening my heart to the flow and the presence and just seeing what's happening. And of course, taking pictures. I love taking photographs on my walk, and it's, the sun is there, or looking at clouds, sort of, this looks like a dragon, or you can sort of really, really play with it. And I remember, yes, as child, I used to do that, lie on the grass and look up at the clouds, and just, it's just, and doing more of that, and yeah, do the things you loved as a child, where sort of time stood still, and maybe it was during summer holidays or something, and you just had that time and you could just do whatever you loved, because as a child you have no responsibility, free, you're carefree, you can just do as your heart and soul content, and just take your time and think back, what did you love to do, and explore that as an adult, and just create a space. Does it still, connect to your heart and soul? And yeah, it's all good.
Definitely. So there's lots of ways to hold the vision and return to the vision. And you probably would love to hear from you if you've got other ways that you return and take yourself back to focusing on that vision. So it's such a powerful thing, isn't it?
It is, and such an important topic right now. March and April have been quite challenging for so many of us. Now May is a bit gentler, we can explore more. So yeah, allow that, and connect to like-minded souls and reach out to us. And I will share the link. Janet has created some amazing cards, and you can pre-order her wonderful deck. And it's just beautiful. That helps too. Yes, oracle cards, lovely reminders. Sometimes we are so stuck we can't see, the things in front of us because we are just completely blocked. And having an oracle card, pick a card or something, is truly helpful to sort of like, oh yes, of course, totally forgot about that.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Yes. I thoroughly enjoyed creating them. Very like you, it was just a flow, intuitive. And when I look at the pictures, they make me feel good. I think that's also, and they convey the message that your soul wisdom is wishing to share with you. So yeah, they're a great way of realigning and reconnecting with your soul, intuition, and wisdom. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. And feel free to listen to previous episodes. Share this episode with a friend who needs a little bit of light right now. We can all do with inspiration and wisdom from our heart and soul. And feel free to reach out to us as always. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing your light with the world. We appreciate you.
Thank you.